Hello Wolfpack. Bitcoin is compressing heavily. Bitcoin is compressing in a descending wedge structure on the hourly chart. And if we zoomed out to something like the daily chart, we can see that it's reaching kind of its pinnacle of compression. Let's get the Bollinger Bands up and we can really see that this compression will be leading to a breakout very shortly. Look at that compression on the Bollinger Bands. We're getting tight there. We're getting in a range. Bitcoin will move shortly. Now CPI is coming up in 4 days, and this on top of the reasons we already just mentioned means we will be seeing some moves across the market. We'll be seeing some volatility over the next week. That's why I've outlined 3 altcoins out of the picks that I've made here. 3 altcoins that I see have the highest potential for trades over the next week or so, maybe a little bit more than a week in the cryptocurrency market. So the first coin we have is Band Protocol. Let's get into it. Now, Band Protocol has a descending wedge structure. It is this yellow structure here with the downtrending line on the bottom and the downtrending line on the top. That is a descending wedge structure. That structure is typically very bullish. On top of this, we also have an uptrending level of support on the RSI, even though the lows are getting lower on the price action, which of course is a bullish divergence. And that's a bullish divergence that's been playing out for 4 months. So that bullish divergence is getting very strong. It will be coming to a breaking point very soon. Will be coming to a tipping point rather very soon. We have the same situation here on the on the MACD, I should say, where we have a positive divergence on the MACD. So Band is getting very close to a breakout here, right, to the upside. Not only has it got bullish divergence on the MACD and on the RSI, not only has it got this descending wedge structure, but it's also coming towards the apex of this descending wedge, meaning that it will be breaking out shortly. The descending wedge lasts until early November. So sometime between now and early November, and as you know, exampled before by Bitcoin, I think will be happening within the next week or so, we will be breaking out on Band Protocol, and that breakout will most likely come to an upside breakout. So let's get into how we can actually profit from this. Now, I have identified 3 red lines here, 2 of which are horizontal and 1 of which is diagonal, as you can see. Starting off with a diagonal line, you want to go ahead and draw in this diagonal line stemming from the wick here on July 26th. Through to these wicks and candle closes here throughout the month of September and August. That is for downside, diagonal line. So yes, I think a breakout will happen to the upside on Band Protocol, but on the occurrence, on the odd chance that we do see something abstract happen with CPI and we do go downwards here, it is possible, of course. The trade would be like this. We'd enter on the breakdown of the wedge, which again is not likely, but it's possible, and we take profits at the red diagonal line here. That would be the short position if we were to break to the downside. Obviously, that's less likely. Again, it is possible, but it's less likely. And so what is the long position looking like? Well, I've identified 2 horizontal resistance levels, one of which is at $1.38 and one of which is at $1.79. I've done this using the volume profile and my own visual interpretation of the charts here. Those are 2 prominent resistance zones. And so what we can do is that if we do break this to the upside, you'd enter on the break to the upside, you'd enter on confirmation of a break to the upside, and you take profits at one of these red resistance zones. Very simple trading signal there for Band Protocol. Now, why am I bringing it to you? I'm bringing it to you for this reason. Again, going over what I said before, not only does it look bullish, right, but we also have the compression and the fact that the apex is coming up so soon. That confirms that this will be breaking out rather soon, right? Within the next couple of weeks, most likely. And again, this video is titled This Week, so probably this week, maybe this week. Let's go ahead and wait and see. But, if we look at the 4-hourly chart on Band Protocol, and we can further see the bullishness of this trade, right? We have also on the 4-hourly chart an actual descending broadening wedge formation. If we change the color of this red diagonal line to yellow, we can see it's actually a descending broadening wedge formation within a bullish, descending wedge formation. So it's a very bullish trade. But again, we don't like to pick sides because in trading, you need to be adapting. You need to be adapting to situations. You need to have a profitable plan for both scenarios. And so if we do break to the downside, we do see that short position. It'll be a take profit on the red diagonal line, even if we see the short position. But of course, we think we're going to see the break to the upside. So that's the first trade there. Keep an eye on Band, chart it up like I did. It will be very profitable, no doubt, especially given the length of this structure and the fact that we've had such long time frame bullish divergences of both the MACD and the RSI. I want to briefly interrupt this video to talk about the BitGet exchange. Now, the BitGet exchange has 5 times lower fees than Binance, which is commonly referred to as the cheapest exchange in the cryptocurrency market. It's also non-KYC or voluntarily KYC, so you can stay true to the fundamental values of cryptocurrency, one of which being anonymity, of course. It's also got a security fund in there, so if you lose your funds by fault of the exchange or by personal fault, you can make a claim and actually retrieve your funds back. On top of all of this, if you sign up using my referral link, you can get access to exclusive discounts and rewards. This is the best exchange on the cryptocurrency market, and I use it personally, and so should everyone at the Wolves of Crypto YouTube channel. Now, if you're interested in actually learning how to trade for yourself, you can check out the Crypto Academy via the website link in the description below. This is a course developed by myself and Megaworld Crypto, a 10-unit course taking you through every single step from step 1 to step infinite about how to become a trader. Go ahead and check that out and chuck us an email at cryptoacademycourses@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you with the full information and payment information if you're interested. Thanks guys for watching the advertisements. Let's get back into the video. Now, the next trade here is Theta. Theta is well known amongst my community. A lot of people know what Theta is. A lot of people have traded Theta in the past, especially my older VIP members. And Theta looks very similar. In fact, all of these coins look very similar because they're all in the same kind of structures here. Looks very similar to BAM Protocol. Again, we have clear, and this time it's very clear, right? A clear bullish divergence on the MACD, a clear bullish divergence on the RSI. We can see the price is in a very sharply descending channel formation, right? Two parallel lines or vaguely parallel lines are descending sharply to the downside, and the price is kind of bouncing between those two levels. That, again, is a bullish structure. And what we can actually see is that even in the midst of this parallel channel, we can start to see that rounding out start to play out there, which is quite bullish, especially given the fact that we have a pretty vague, it's not really pinpointable, but a pretty vague support zone here for Theta as well. So we can start to kind of imagine what it's going to look like. Hey, look, maybe we'll see a big overarching W pattern. We had the first bottom there. We might have the second bottom over here, in which case that would be very bullish. So we have no reason to believe that Theta will be, well, we have very minimal reason to believe, I should say, that Theta will be getting very bearish. But as of this point, it's pretty damn bullish. And we have two bullish scenarios here for Theta, right? The first scenario, and again, 3 horizontal red lines, 1 diagonal yellow line. You can see it on the screen here. You can just copy what I've got on the chart. And then this channel formation, that's the structure for Theta. But the bullish trades on Theta really are endless. There's a lot of things you could do with Theta. And I'm going to give you some few examples here so that you guys can apply this to your own trades when it does break out, right? There's a few things you can do. Now, if we do reject from this channel formation, if we do head back down for a retest of the bottom of the channel formation, you could actually enter the trade either at this red line here, which would be a double bottom, right, at 95 cents, or you could wait for a retest of the bottom of this channel and you can enter the trade there. I don't see this breaking to the downside. I actually don't see a bearish breakdown for Theta. I see a bearish breakdown within the confines of the channel, but given the fact that the channel is so sharply descending, you can see the bottom line of this channel is moving downwards at such a sharp trajectory. I don't see it as necessarily possible we actually break down from that. And so there's only upside potential if you wait for confirmation here on Theta. So here are some ways you can play it. You can play it like this. You could actually wait for a retest of 96 cents, like I said, or wait for a retest of that yellow line. You could buy at either of those levels, and then you could take a trade up to the top of the channel again and sell there. Or you could wait for a breakout of the channel itself, which would be a more conservative thing, and you could actually trade it up to the nearest resistance at $1.19. And then from there, if you don't want to take profits, you could actually trade it all the way up to the top or retest of that diagonal uptrending resistance line. That is how you could play Theta. Now, if we're looking at something like the weekly chart on Theta, and this is quite important here to look at this, the weekly chart on Theta tells us something pretty interesting about that potential double bottom formation we were talking about, right? The weekly chart actually had a double bottom formation on the MACD, and the MACD generally reflects what happens in the future, right? If you have a double bottom formation on the MACD, generally speaking, you see a double bottom formation on the price action. That's just how it works. And so, look, I would say that Theta actually looks pretty bullish here. I'd say this is a bottoming out structure. I don't think it looks too bad. Now, it's worth noting, guys, all of these trades that I say here, these are short-term trades. I'm not speaking about long-term structures. You guys know my opinions on long-term structures for altcoins. I don't think they look good in general. I don't think you should be trading long-term structures on altcoins. But these are good short-term trades here that I'm setting up. And I see the chances of them playing out as quite high. We also have a pretty clear, this is the weekly chart. We also have a pretty clear massive compression on the Bollinger Bands on the weekly chart, which just kind of further reinforces the fact that we're going to be seeing a breakout soon. One thing that is worth noting that could be threatening for Theta is the fact that we have the bull market support band, which consists of a 20-week SMA and the 21-week EMA trending downwards massively, right? And will be acting as strong resistance. That is currently sitting just above $1.19. So it might pay off to sell at $1.19, and it might not be too logical to try and take this trade any higher than that, right? I'd be selling at $1.19 if we do get a breakout of Theta here. That would be my personal take profit region. And I just don't want to be facing that bull market support band because that would lead to some pretty sharp potential rejections. So we've got Band, we've got Theta. What is the last coin? Well, the last coin is Bitcoin Cash. It's a Dino coin. It's an old coin. Not many people really care too much about Bitcoin Cash anymore. I personally see Bitcoin Cash as a pretty good coin to trade. The structures always remain pretty true to what they are. You see a lot of coins, particularly lower cap coins, particularly newer coins that are driven by hype, have structures that play out quite oddly, right? We'll get like descending wedges formations. They'll break to the downside. You get an ascending triangle, will break to the downside. It's very odd, right? Bitcoin Cash, generally speaking, based on personal experience, my personal evidence and my personal experiences with Bitcoin Cash, it's always been pretty consistent with the TA, and that's why I like it. That's why I still keep it on my watch list. I still watch what happens. Again, Bitcoin Cash, very similar to the other coins here. Bullish divergence on the RSI, bullish divergence on the MACD, uptrend on the MACD as well, which is good to see. And we also have compression on the Bollinger Bands. Now, Bitcoin Cash, I would say, is actually one of the more likely coins to break out the soonest. I think this will break out the soonest in comparison to the other coins. Again, just like Theta, we have that compression coming in on the weekly chart on the Bollinger Bands. We do also have that threat of the bull market support band heading very close to the breakout point. So Theta, yes, it will break out the soonest, but it also, in my opinion, is most likely to see a fake out. Just because of the fact, as I said, we have that bull market support band, which is a very, very, very strong resistance zone, just kind of right above the breakout point. So be cautious with Bitcoin Cash. Yes, it is going to break out very shortly, but it does have that rejection point just above. So just be cautious if you're going to trade it. Keep a tight stop loss and just be aware of that. It is a little bit more risky than the other coins. But the reason why I like Bitcoin Cash specifically is because, well, you guys can go ahead and as I'm showing you these charts, go ahead and copy the lines I've got here. These are all prominent support resistance lines stemming throughout history. If we zoom all the way back, you can see these lines start to play out. If my internet would work properly, they would. You can do it for yourself and check it out. As you can see there, right? Support resistance zones, very prominent, always play out quite well. That is at $1.72, $172, $140, $94, and $73. Those are red horizontal lines. But specifically, again, why am I looking at Bitcoin Cash? Why do I think it's going to break out so soon? Because within the descending wedge structure that I have here, we also have a kind of a miniature triangle formation, right? This dashed uptrending yellow line combined with the top of the descending wedge forms its own triangle formation. That triangle formation will be breaking out before the 15th of October, which is basically, 6 days away, right? So anytime between now and the 15th, which is within the next 6 days, we'll have a breakout on Bitcoin Cash. We'll either have a breakout that will send us to the upside, in which case you'd enter on the break to the upside and take profits at any one of these red levels while remaining cautious of where the bull market support band is, or we see a break to the downside, in which case you'd enter a short position and you'd trade it back down to the bottom of the wedge formation. If we go below that, you trade it to one of these red lines. So either way here, we have a profitable short-term structure within the larger structure. Again, break to the upside, you'd enter, break to the downside, you enter to the bottom there. We have a profitable structure within the long-term structure on Bitcoin Cash. So we have three, pretty prominent altcoins here, all of which are due for the breakout, within the next couple of weeks at most. Bitcoin Cash within the next few days, Theta probably within the next, I'd say 2 to 3 weeks, and then Band probably within the next week, 1 to 2 weeks here. All of these coins are setting up for good trades. All of these coins are potentially profitable, and I'm excited to see where it leads us. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.